What's going on, guys? I'm Aaron from PhoneDog.com, and I'm hanging out in the Verizon offices, and look what a unicorn just left off. The Droid Bionic. I'm just messing. Special thanks to my friends at Verizon for hooking me up with a PR unit. Special thanks to them for letting me use their office space as well. Super nice people, but the Droid Bionic is here. I had to make that little joke because it's been a long time coming. We saw this thing at CES in January with a totally different design, and now it's been reworked, re-engineered, and it comes out tomorrow for $299.99. Now, specs-wise, you're looking at a 1 GHz dual-core TI OMAP processor. And seriously, look at these digs. Like, not to get too distracted, but take a look at these chairs. Take a look at that Droid X poster. Super excited to be here. So thanks to Verizon. They are awesome and really, really accommodating. So thank you guys so very much. But the Droid Bionic, if I can get it out of the box using one hand. Oh, anyway, got sidetracked. Oh, take a look at the shoes too. See what you think of those. Anyway, sidetracked. 1 GHz dual-core processor, 4.3-inch QHD display with Pentile technology. So very similar to display to what we've seen on the Atrix and some of the other recent Motorola devices. You got an 8-megapixel camera back here on the back. Now this is the newest LTE device, and obviously it's a little bit thicker than what you would expect from a 3G device. Now that said, obviously the 4G radios require the thickness, but still, Verizon's quick to point out that it's their thinnest LTE device to date. A dual-core 1 GHz processor, like I said, that 4.3-inch display, super nice. We're going to power it up right now and get a look at the dual-core action on this. Before we do that, let's take a look at what comes in the box. We've got an AC adapter module, we've got a charging cable, or USB cable rather, which doubles as a charging cable. Let's see, instruction manuals, consumer information about radio frequency emissions and responsible driving, weekend reading material, important consumer information, información importante al consumidor, weekend reading material, información sobre la garantía y seguridad del producto, weekend reading material, and here is the big manual, Droid Bionic de Motorola. Droid Bionic by Motorola. Getting started, inicio, and then an empty box. But you can see here, we're starting up right now. Now on the left side, you get your HDMI port, your micro USB charging port. You get your back, home, menu, and back buttons. I think I said back twice. Menu, home, back, and search buttons. And it's droiding at me, and you can see here, got the menu buttons over here on the side. Then you got that camera on the back with a flash as well. 1,735 milliamp hour battery in the back. And let's just see how quick this baby boots up. Now this thing is fast. You can tell the dual-core processor is there, but functionality, or functionally speaking, very similar to the Droid X2 and the Droid 3 in terms of the user interface. It's running Android 2.3, but you can see that 4G LTE right up there in the corner. So it's rocking 4G LTE out of the box. But the really cool thing, and let's see if I can find it here, is you can turn that off when you want to. So when you're in a 3G only area, or you don't want to use 4G, you want to cut back on battery life, you can go in here to wireless and networks, and you should be able to kill off the LTE. Let's take a look. There you go, CDMA only. So you can kill that off and go back to 3G only and save some battery life if you're in either an area where there's no 4G or where you don't want to use your 4G. But let's take a look at what comes pre-installed. Now you get your all apps here, you can see, and it has the same menu interface as the Droid 3 where it scrolls side to side instead of up and down. You can see device setup comes out of the box. You've got GoToMeeting, you have IM, My Verizon Mobile, let's see what else. VCast Media, VCast Music, VCast Tones, VCast Videos. Video Surf, and the file format is very similar to what we've seen again on the Droid X2 and the Droid 3, where we can go in here to Verizon Wireless and see there's your Verizon Wireless pre-installed stuff. So you got IM Mobile Hotspot as well, NFL Mobile, Voicemail, VZ Navigator. Definitely the fastest LTE device to date. And it really answers those questions where people wanted a dual core, wanted a fast device, but also wanted 4G capabilities. They didn't want to go 4G and then sacrifice that dual core processor, or perhaps sacrifice a nice big display. This is the flagship device, dual core goodness, big screen, super awesome camera, and Android 2.3 to boot, and then a front-facing camera for those of you who like to video chat. Let's take a look here at the browser and just take a look at how fast it is. Let's go back to all, and let's see here. I'm going to browser. We're rocking 4G here in Greenville, South Carolina. I came to Greenville to pick this up, and again, special thanks to Verizon, man. They're super accommodating. Take a look at this chair that I'm sitting in. It's a nice chair, a nice table. Special thanks to them for giving us so much love. And we'll see here, share location. And we'll go over here to PhoneDog. Only the greatest tech site in the world, PhoneDog.com. We're going to wait for it to load up and see how quickly it loads up on 4G. So you can really see that 4G at work, but it's nice, again, because it is a big device. It's definitely going to be something that you feel in the pocket, but in comparison to the ones I've worked with, the Thunderbolt, the Revolution, the Droid Charge, it is substantially thinner. At least I feel that it's substantially thinner. So you're going to feel it in the pocket, but it's not as thick. And just to give you a size comparison to it versus the BlackBerry Bold 9930, which I'm still carrying as part of my 30-day BlackBerry challenge. You can see that it's not too bad. It's a little bit bigger, but not too much. But you can see transition effects nice and fast there, so that dual-core processor really at work, and those transition effects are part of Motorola's custom user interface, which is installed over the device. So you can see it's a good-looking device as well. Kind of looks like the Droid 3, just without the keyboard. You can see kind of the hump down here around the screen, but just again, it feels good in the hand, and I'm really pleased with it. Let's zoom in here and take a look at pinch to zoom performance, and you can see once it actually decides to zoom in. Let's get this sucker zoomed in. Sorry for that. Let's get it over here so you can take a look. There we go. You can see it's very, very responsive. You can see how quick that runs, and then of course the same interface that you're familiar with on some of the past devices. So the Motorola DROID Bionic available tomorrow at Verizon Wireless for $299.99 on a 2-year agreement. The next 4G device, the first dual-core 4G device. Definitely the fastest, definitely the best looking. Well, I guess that's subjective, but I'm just going to go ahead and say it. The best looking, at least, in terms of thickness. It is pretty thick. It's thicker than your typical 3G device, but still in comparison to the other 4G devices on the market, I think this is something that bridges the gap pretty nicely, where you get a lot of power and you still get a good looking device. Keep it locked on PhoneDog.com for continuing coverage, and as always, I've got to give some love to my friends at Best Buy, because at some point they're going to hook us up with phones like this. We can give them to you in the One-Paw Bandit game, so when you go into Best Buy Mobile, you'll walk out working, they'll hook you up, help you set up your email, your web, they'll get that 4G set up, so when you walk out, you're working. And again, special thanks to Verizon folks for letting me borrow their office, their conference room, this nice table, and letting me do my unboxing thing at their offices in Greenville, South Carolina. I'm Aaron from PhoneDog.com. Keep it locked on the site. Follow me on Twitter, PhoneDog_Aaron. Ask me any questions you have, and stay tuned for continuing coverage on the Droid Bionic.